my channel. My name's Hope and I'm a photographer and business coach based in Charleston, and this YouTube channel is where I share education for entrepreneurs as well as a little peek into my life living in the low country. But today I want to talk to my photographers specifically because I'm going to share one of the biggest game-changing decisions that I ever made in my photography business. And I know that the concept of outsourcing and hiring a team, all of those things are kind of like buzzwords sometimes in the industry, right? But it can be really hard to determine exactly what that should look like in your business. Like, what tasks should I outsource? How much does it cost? Why should I outsource that? And I'm a type 3 Enneagram, and I like to believe that I can do everything by myself and that I don't need any help. But when I realized that there are people that were born to do certain tasks that are actually better at it than I could ever be and have more time to do it and do it better than I can, then I realized that that is one of the things that could grow your business fastest, is outsourcing the tasks that are taking the most of your time to free up your ability to do only the high-level things in your business that you absolutely have to be the one to do. And what I mean by that is I obviously have to be the one that photographs my clients. I have to be the one to do my Instagram stories. I prefer to be the one that does my client communication, but there are so many admin tasks and other random tasks in your business that somebody else could do for you to save you hours of time, to free you up to spend time with your family, or to free you up to make more money in your business. And today I'm going to talk to you about the number one thing that I think every photographer should outsource. If you're in a season of your business where you are overwhelmed with bookings, you don't have any time left on your day today, and you are bogged down with editing to the point that you literally can't catch your breath or keep up, then I want to share with you why I think that outsourcing your editing is the best next move that you can make for your business. And I want to kind of like debunk a misconception about outsourcing your editing really quickly. So when I say outsourcing your editing, I only mean for the bulk of your weddings. I think that you can totally outsource your portrait sessions too if you want to. In my business, I only outsource my wedding photography editing, which means I'm still editing all of my senior portraits and still editing all of my engagement sessions, all of my other portrait sessions, but I'm paying somebody else to do the bulk editing of my other wedding images. And I'm going to explain to you why, but this has allowed me to literally do hours and hours and hours of additional work in my business that I didn't have time to do before. And it has freed me up to make so much more money in my business because I'm available to do the extra tasks that I couldn't have done if I was spending 8 hours editing a wedding in Lightroom. So I want to break down for you 3 reasons why I think you should consider outsourcing your editing, and then I'm going to share a little bit about what the process looks like. So number 1, the first reason I think that outsourcing your editing should be your next move is because you were not made to do everything on your own. I think one of the biggest things that we deal with from like a pride perspective as a business owner is that we feel like we should be able to balance everything and do it all on our own. And I struggle with that. I know the majority of people I've talked to about this struggle with that. And we just feel this need to do it all by ourselves and prove that we don't need any help. And I can respect that. I understand that thought process. But when I realized that there are literally people who were born to do certain tasks, like I did not sign up to be a photographer because I wanted to spend 8 hours behind a computer editing. I signed up to be a photographer because I love photography. I love working with clients. I love capturing images, but I can't do as much of that or enjoy my job near as much if I'm trying to control every little thing and do every little task and I'm bogged down on editing for 8 hours at a time behind my computer. That's not what I signed up for. There are people who are stay-at-home moms and people who were born to be editors who love editing images. Like they literally would prefer to sit behind their computer and edit images all day because they're passionate about it and they love it and it allows them to stay home, and that is an amazing fit for them. So just remember that you are not meant to do everything in your business, and I would argue that the less that you do in your business, the less tasks that you try to have control over, the more you're going to free up your time to see growth in your business. Number 2, the second thing that I think is really important to know about outsourcing your editing that's a common misconception is that you are still the one that's editing all of the images that your audience is seeing. So when I am outsourcing a wedding, what I'm doing is I am still going through and culling that wedding. So I'm still going through all of the images and deciding which ones are going to go in the final gallery. And I am editing 100 to 120 favorites of those images that are going to go in the blog post. Those are the images that go on my blog. Those are the images I share on social media. Those are the ones that are in my Hope's Favorites category that go to my clients and their galleries. Those are the ones that are going to be submitted for publication. I am editing all of the images that my clients are are seeing and that my audience is seeing. And they're also the images that are the first impression that my client's going to get of their gallery. My editor's job is to take those images, they're called anchor images, and to take the ones that I've edited and sync them with the rest of the gallery. So they're taking the 100 images I edited and making the other 1,000 images in that gallery look just like it. So I'm basically still doing the editing. I'm still teaching the editor what the images need to look like. They're just doing the monotonous task of going through and making sure everything is consistent. So you are not giving up control of the images that your audience is seeing. You are still editing those images. It's actually the most vital part of the outsourcing process because you have to edit those anchor images to show your editor what the rest need to look like. So you are still in control of what your images look like and what your audience is seeing. Lastly, number 3, the last reason that I think it's super, super valuable to outsource your editing is they can actually probably do it better than you, more consistently than you, and faster than you. The best thing about outsourcing your editing, for my business at least, was that my editor can turn around my galleries in a week. So that means if I can call the wedding and edit the images for the blog within 2 or 3 days after the wedding, my client has their full wedding gallery back to them within a week of their wedding day. Imagine the client experience and the raving reviews that you could have in your business if you turned your wedding galleries around in just 1 week. That isn't standard for all editors, but I would bet that your editor could turn around your gallery faster than you could if you were having to do it all by yourself. And I've actually found that my images are more consistent and they're really honestly more beautiful across the board because I have an editor whose only job is to focus on the quality of the images. They're all straightened, they're all cropped correctly, they're all, I shoot so crooked, like my images sometimes are like wonky, and somebody else is making sure that my clients are well taken care of by ensuring that every single one of those details is taken care of in a much faster workflow than I would be able to provide. So I wanted to share just a little bit about what the outsourcing process actually looks like, just because it can seem overwhelming and seem really stressful, but it's actually really simple. So the first step is to cull your wedding, just like you normally would. You're gonna go through your images, decide which ones that you want to keep and which ones are gonna go in the final gallery, just like usual. Then if you edit in Lightroom like me, you're gonna upload the images into Lightroom. What I do next, step number 2, is I go through and click P or pick on the images that I want to edit for the blog. These are gonna be the images that I edit, that everybody sees, and they're also going to be the anchor images that my editor is going to take and sync with the rest of the gallery. So I go through, I click P to select pick on all of the images I want to edit for the blog, and then I go to view, sort by pick, and it shoots all of the photos that I selected up to the top. So then I edit those 100 to 120 images, I export them, and I do my blogging workflow. Those go up on the blog. Step number 3 is once I'm done with that, I export the entire catalog of smart previews to go over to my editor. So basically what that's doing is it's exporting a very low quality version of the image that my editor can edit, send back over to me, and then I upload it into Lightroom and it syncs the edits that my editor just performed on that catalog. So all I do is export the catalog, Dropbox it to my editor, let her know that it's in her inbox, she edits it, sends it back to me, and I just open it up in Lightroom, make sure everything looks good, export my images, and go from there. So step number 1, cull the wedding. Step number 2, edit your anchor images. Step number 3, export the catalog and send it to your editor. And step number 4 is to check over everything once you get the catalog back and export the images to deliver to your client. It's literally that easy. And I know one of the most popular questions I'll get is how much I pay for that. And I pay 39 cents per image. So for one of my wedding galleries that's anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 images, I'm paying $350 to $400 per wedding. But when you think about that, that is a fraction of the cost of your wedding packages. You can increase your wedding package price to offset that cost, but also you're getting hours of your time back. So if you are editing 3 weddings per month right now, and it's taking you an average of 8 hours per wedding, but you outsource that to someone else, that's 24 hours of that month of time that you're getting back. That's a full day of work. What could you do with 24 hours back in your month to make additional money to make up that cost of the editor? Maybe you just do an additional portrait session because now you're spending less time behind your computer. Maybe you start a stream of passive income and you have the time to film a course or do an affiliate program for a program that you really love. Maybe you have time to film more YouTube videos or share more Instagram content to bring in 1 new wedding booking each year, which covers the cost of all of your editing. There are so many ways to make up that cost as long as you're strategic about the way that you spend your time. But if you just want to spend that time with your family and you're doing this to get your time back, just increase your wedding packages slightly to offset that cost. I promise it will be worth it to you. So I hope this was helpful for you. I'm gonna link a few different people below. I'm gonna link my editor. I'm also gonna link 2 of my favorite resources to find your own private editor, because sometimes my editor gets filled up. And I'm happy to answer any questions about this in the comments below, but I hope that this was useful to you. I just want to encourage you that if you're somebody that's feeling so stressed and overwhelmed with the amount of editing on your plate, you have options, and outsourcing could bring you so much freedom, and it's not as intimidating or complicated or as expensive as you probably assume. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this gave you helpful perspective. And if you enjoy my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. I share new content for entrepreneurs and photographers alike each week. So I will see you guys next week. Bye.